a surprise. But now I see that that's just me. It's not like I even tried. So if you ask me how I'm doing, here is my reply. I'm getting by. I'm getting by. Oh yeah, I'm letting my bi flag fly. Not gonna hide it, not gonna lie. I'm a bi kind of guy. There's no reason to be shy. My oh my, it's a fact I can't deny. I'm bi until the day I die. Now some may say, oh, you're just gay. Why don't you just go gay all the way? But that's not it, 'cause bi's legit. Whether you're a he or a she, we might be a perfect fit. And one more thing, I tell you what, being bi does not imply that you're a player or a slut. Sure, I like sex,
Please make him stop.
but I'm no hoe. I take things slow until I feel at ease. So if you ask me how I'm doing, I'm feeling peppy, sprightly, spry. I'm getting by. I'm getting by. And it's something I'd like to demystify. It's not a phase. I'm not confused. Not indecisive. I don't have the gotta choose blues. I don't care if you wear high heels or a tie. You might just catch my eye because I'm definitely bi. Big man!
Good, Mr. Lights. With your big fancy lights. With your Kino flows.
That's what they call it, right? Mr. Lights and then Best Boy.
Yeah, there's Mr. Lights. So if you look at the end credits of any movie,
Right.
There's Mr. Lights, there's Best Boy, there's a Props Master, which I think is a great title. Yeah, you have a Cool Dude. You have Sick Hookups. That's the guy who plugs everything in.
Oh, okay. So that's not like... Okay. That's not like a matchmaker.
No, that's a different guy. That's the set matchmaker.
Okay.
Who, you know, and sometimes they're incredibly good at their job, like on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, you know, they meet and it's like, hey, what's this? What's going on, you know?
That was an excellent matchmaker.
Matchmaker, make me a match.
I wish they hadn't cut that category out of the Oscars.
Yeah, best matchmaker?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You can hear the rascal. To set the scene, there's two cats chasing each other.
And only one cat sitting on this futon.
Hey, and it's me. Cat Scott.
Coming at ya. Live from a room bathed in purple light.
And it's actually bisexual lighting, which creates purple. You see there's pink above you and blue on the key side.
Wow.
It's your key light.
Okay.
And then your overhead light.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Mr. Light taught
Sure.
me that.
Where's my backlight? Mr. Lights. I love that guy. His head is a big light bulb. He's just, and you know when he's got an idea. Because it goes ding.
He's definitely the most, overworked person in Hollywood.
Because he does lights for everything.
Yeah. It's hard to book. That's why scheduling is such a nightmare.
Such a nightmare.
In Hollywood.
And you turn on Netflix and you're like, wow, they released 37 new shows this week. Mr. Lights did all of that.
He's there.
He's there on set.
And, there are some shows that try to get away with, not using Mr. Lights, like Ozark, or, some of those dark and gritty
Marvel's
shows.
The Defenders, whereas, it cannot be viewed. If there is a light on in your room, you cannot watch Marvel's The Defenders because you cannot see what's on screen.
Yeah, or there's one season of Stranger Things, I think, that Mr. Lights wasn't on for.
And it shows.
It definitely shows.
It fucking shows.
It's a sacrifice, but also...
He was too busy on Shrimp College or whatever new Netflix show is coming.
I love Shrimp College. Remind me the plot of Shrimp College again.
Shrimp College. No, it's not what you think. Because when you hear the phrase Shrimp College...
It's coming back to me.
You think of a college attended by shrimps.
That is what initially drew me to Shrimp College. But then...
Misleading advertising, because then you found out that it was a college for short people.
Oh my. Yeah, and they tried to be a little more...
And not like a little people big world situation.
No.
No, just short people. just like people who were about 5'0".
Okay.
It was really easy to frame everyone because it was mandatory. The actors had to be 5' nothing.
And they had their own college?
Mm-hmm. Where they learned how to get by in a world made for people bigger than they are.
Okay, yeah. This is coming back to me.
Yeah, it was a hit. It was the #1 show. 1 billion people watched it in its first weekend out. 1 billion. A cool Billy.
Cool Billy. Yeah, a conservative Billy.
A conservative Billy. That's underestimated. Because we don't want to brag over here at Netflix. I'm the president of Netflix.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I got my promotion from nothing to president of Netflix. And it's going really well.
What's your favorite part about being president of Netflix?
My favorite part about being president of Netflix has to be the ta-dum.
Does that every time the elevator opens to your floor?
Every time the elevator opens, every time the elevator closes.
Flushes,
every time
toilet?
I get a call. Every time I clock out for lunch. Every time I clock back in from lunch. I have unpaid lunches.
That's fucked up.
We're pinching pennies over at Netflix.
Are you unionizing? Are you leading the union effort?
No, I am actively. Every time one of my Pinkertons stops the Netflix union from forming, ta-dum. Every time I take a big shit, it goes ta-dum.
Okay, yeah.
Every time I jerk off at work to relieve some stress,
it hears you.
It knows.
It knows, and then everyone's like, well, that could be a million different ta-dums, but we know what that one
But
is.
we know what that one was, because he's not clocking in, he's not clocking out, the elevator's not opening, and he just took a big old shit, so it can't be that one. And on a really tough day, you hear that one like 4 times.
That sounds like a great day. That sounds like shot day for
Those
me.
are the best parts of the day. Those are the highlights of my day.
Yeah, that sounds like the day that I do my testosterone shot,
Mm-hmm.
which is a great day for me.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm like, it's rare, but if I'm like having sex with my Netflix wife and it's going really well, sometimes I ta-dum twice when I'm with my Netflix wife.
Why is your wife called a Netflix wife? Is that like a work
Because I'm
wife?
the president of Netflix. This is my Netflix bride. She loves all our shows.
Okay, so
She loves Shrimp College. We met on the set of Shrimp College. I was visiting set that day.
you moved up through. You cut your teeth at Shrimp College.
I cut my teeth at Shrimp College, where I was not employed. I was around the set.
You're a volunteer.
I was a volunteer. And I was walking by. I was getting an unrelated croissant and coffee, and I looked over and I said, "What is Shrimp College?" And they said, "That's a profound question. What is Shrimp College? You're hired.
And you're like, you got moxie. There's something about
You got chutzpah, kid. You're asking all the right questions." So they sent me up, and I am president of Netflix, and I have a Netflix wife.
That's amazing, and thank you for bringing Crazy Ex-Girlfriend to Netflix, of which we watched 2 episodes.
That's right, because this is, of course, Crazy Ex-Pod Friends, a show so called not because we are ex-friends, but because we used to have a podcast together. We still do, but we used to too. And yes, I am one of your hosts, president of Netflix. TV's Kevin Lanigan.
And that is where the TV comes in. We finally have an answer.
It comes from my being president of Netflix, the future of television.
TV's Kevin Lanigan.
I am trying to get it legally changed to Netflix as Kevin Lanigan. Or Netflix presents Kevin Lanigan.
I'm surprised that isn't easier as president to get that changed, but I know that trademark law and...
It's tough, because, like, what if I get fired? And then they have this guy running around whose first name is technically Netflix.
Oh, that's a great
Just
point.
like my son, Netflix.
You named your son Netflix?
I named my son Netflix. I love my company. I love where I work.
That makes sense. I actually knew somebody. This is dark. It's not dark. She's a nice person, and I wish her the best, but her name is Merrill, and she's named after Merrill Lynch. The bank. But she's doing well, as expected.
As is Merrill Lynch.
Yeah.
Yes, and as is my Netflix wife, Sally Mae.
Sally Mae.
You maybe have some loans that you owe her.
Okay. Yeah. I'm more interested in Mary Kay. A Mary Kay wife is what I'm looking for.
I love a wife who's in an MLM. I love a wife who outs us thousands of dollars so that she could buy a bunch of bullshit that takes up our whole garage and then get her friends in on the pyramid scheme.
There's a light pink Cadillac in this neighborhood that says Mary Kay on it, and I have so many questions, but I don't think I want answers. I think I'd rather just have the questions.
I also... Maybe I'm just divorced from the goings-on of our contemporary culture. I thought for sure Mary Kay was, like, no more.
Me too, especially just from watching Drop Dead Gorgeous. I thought that was, like, a dig in itself.
I thought Mary Kay dropped dead, you know, when they saw that film.
Like, in the year 2000, I thought that was enough.
I thought for sure we were done.
Enough of a roast.
But, I don't know. I mean, if the internet has taught me anything, it is that white women love pyramid schemes. A white woman loves nothing more than an MLM.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I watched Murder on Middle Beach, and the mom in that.
Was that one of our fine Netflix offerings?
It's actually, I think it's HBO.
Our steep competition. I of course do not watch HBO because HBO is not on Netflix yet.
HBO is not on Netflix.
HBO is not on Netflix. Now, you can still order our DVDs. You can still order DVDs of your favorite HBO shows through our DVD service.
I love that. I love that you still have that.
You still have it. It's one guy filling envelopes, but he loves his job.
Is it the same guy from Pam and Tommy who filled the VHS? You didn't watch that show, right?
It was not... That is not on Netflix. That is a Hulu original.
My apologies.
Thank you. But it's my understanding that Seth Rogen is on that show, and he sells a bunch of Blu-rays.
He doesn't sell Blu-rays. He sells VHS.
VHS, right? Because I'm sorry. I'm used to the Netflix model. A Netflix show has never been released on VHS. Don't quote me on that.
That's true, actually, and that's
except for the box sitting right next to you.
I have a novelty box of The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor. It was like the last time that I
Two fine Netflix originals. I think my first two daughters will be named The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Yeah, and Bly for sure. Short. Bly and Hill, I guess, would be...
Those are great, and everyone will assume her name is Hillary, but no, her name is The Haunting of Hill House.
And both of their middle names is House. That's so cool.
Yes.
Haunting of Hill House, Netflix.
Because they're sisters. The House sisters.
Haunting of Hill House. Is their last name Lanigan or Netflix?
No. My first name is Netflix. My last name is Lanigan.
I actually stole my dad's first name as my last name.
That's true. You did a little heist.
Yeah, my dad's name is Scott, and I used it because the running bit in our last podcast, of which was an X podcast, is the next, whatever, was my loose ties to Jeb Bush, which still was never revealed because we never finished Hamilton.
That's right, and we never will. I do not know what happens.
Yeah.
I never learned. We did 50 minutes of Hamilton.
You only know Hamilton through minute by minute. You actually
I have
no
never
idea.
experienced it outside of that context.
And that is the best way to
I
live.
agree. It was the ideal way to consume a 2.5-hour musical.
I'm White Josh was the first note that I took.
You're White Josh. Well, speaking of White Josh, so yesterday, my friends and I were watching some Tony clips and Macy's Thanksgiving Day just like
I was in that.
Watching the Broadway shows. But
I was in Macy's Day Parade.
Okay, circle back to that.
Okay.
At the Tony Awards performance of where Daniel Radcliffe was in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
Heard of it.
And they're singing Brotherhood of Man at the Tonys, right behind Daniel Radcliffe, dancing his little heart out, is White Josh.
Oh, he is
a featured, he's like down right behind Daniel. He's prominently featured as a dancer in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
He really looks like a dancer.
He really is. And White Josh does not do a lot of singing or dancing on this show.
Yeah.
But he is a Broadway dancer.
Like how Artie was a dancer in
Right, and he was arguably the best dancer on Glee, but his character was in a wheelchair.
so they did like one safety dance to be like
See? Yeah, they did like one fantasy sequence, to which I say, like, why not do some more? Like, you're Glee. Like, no one cares about the internal logic of your bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't, sorry, again, somehow we always get back to a Ryan Murphy project. But I didn't know that White Josh was a formal performer. I know that there's a lot of Broadway performers in this
Of course.
show that don't always do Broadway things. I guess this is where they take their little break and their little paycheck.
Right. Hey, you got a steady network paycheck for 4 years. I'd take that.
Yeah.
And but White Josh is part of a couple group numbers, but it's not until the penultimate episode of this show that I think White Josh gets a showcase number. It's crazy.
The last
the last episode, the second to last episode of the entire series is the only White Josh centric number that I can think of.
That's so interesting.
It's so interesting.
Maybe I don't have any theories, actually.
Yeah. I think you hire as many talented singers and dancers as you can, but the character of White Josh just perhaps does not lend himself to a lot of showcase numbers, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't really carry a lot of the drama. He's a pretty low-key sort of guy. Not that you can't write a song about that, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's why my first note was I'm White Josh, is because I'm transitioning to a low-key character from more of a protagonist role in my life.
Yeah.
Like people who have been expressing like main character energy, and I know that that's a trend. I've actually been downtrending. I've been going down.
Been moving down the call sheet.
Down the call sheet. Yeah.
But we have argued many times. That's more fun down there.
Yeah, in fact, it's never been an argument. It's just been agreement.
Yeah, we agree.
We love the supporting character, and we love just being in the character role of it all.
I love to be a supporting character. I don't really care to be a lead. I really love just coming, my little plug and play. Again, ideal role is the lab technician on, like, CSI.
Yeah.
The guy who's just like, you're never going to believe this. This is nuts. Like, we found traces of meteorite dust in the victim's body. And then you never see me for the rest of the episode. But I collect that paycheck every single fucking week. I work like 1 day a week.
You're in the background, though, of the scene where all of the monitors are covering the wall.
Yeah.
And, like, the surveillance is happening with, like, the main character, and then somebody cuts the power. Yeah. You're in that scene.
Lab tech or computer person. I would happily be the person at the keyboard who's like, no, we were tracing this through an ATM camera across the street. You know, I would kill to do that in a second.
Yeah. And what I've said recently, at least this year, I think I put it on a TikTok, of which I'm not famous, so nobody has seen it, is I'm open to being Comic-Con famous. That's actually what I've decided I want to be booked and blessed Comic-Con famous. I want to be in some like super geeky franchise where like I feel like I can buy into like the lore and really just go.
You're the one in the cast who's like, I'm in this with you. I also am nerding out on this.
Yeah, like I'm like kind of too hot to be a regular attendant of Comic-Con, but I get to be invited the way that like drag artists, like famous drag artists, get to live their life in fame in very small pockets, like that, but much less effort than a drag.
Yeah, you want to be on like a Farscape or something like that.
Yes.
And you're the person when the nerd is like, I have a question about the quantum, and you're like, those quantums. You know what I mean? Like you get it.
But I have like I don't get really irritable about it. I still have a sense of humor. You know, like I'm more like a little cheeky, but I say something that's like, I do know what I'm saying.
You're like, I get you with those quantums, dog.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So obviously we can talk a lot about Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, but you and I did have a very musical weekend.
Yes.
Between the two of us, and I think we might as well talk about that a little bit as well.
Sure. Starting with The Gift of Florence.
It began on Friday night when you and I attended Florence and the Machine at Madison Square Garden, a sold-out Madison Square Garden show.
It was sold out?
It was sold out.
Because it was so, like, spotty at the beginning that I was just like, oh, people aren't coming back.
Uh-oh. No, they're back. They filled it up. I don't know if you saw it throughout the rest of the show. It was
I did, but I just thought maybe, yeah.
Now, the 2 seats next to us, they did not show up, but I believe it was still technically, like, sold out, you know? Those people were just out a couple $100 for a show they did not end up attending. But it was magical. It was wonderful. I've wanted to see Florence for over a decade now. And I was mesmerized the entire time. Hypnotized, if you will.
I've been trying to find the, like, set list on... Because I'm always like, oh, there's definitely at least one fan of any, like, famous to somewhat famous performer that has put together the set list order.
Of
so
course.
that I don't have to. Because most performers that I've seen this year have been, like, albums and things that I don't know all the songs yet. Or, like, can't, like, get my Shazam out because they're live performing. So...
Rude.
That's been nice to be like, oh, like that one song with the lyrics that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been listening to that. And for those, it's been, what were the songs? Florence set list. I've been listening to Morning Elvis and Choreomania.
Hey, those are good ones for the new album.
Yeah.
If I make it to the morning.
Yeah, and I really liked King, but I already that was the one that I already liked from this album.
Yeah, it's a great one.
That was, the standout.
It's a banger.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting with artists like that. I never have, like, a temperature check of, like, what peers also like that artist.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I like Florence from a very specific, like, Tumblr teenager place. And I think my sibling and I reshot, and here it is in the link is in the notes of this podcast.
Sure.
I don't know. We'll see if I can find it. We shot, like, a version of Cosmic Love on the rooftop of my apartment building.
The stars, the moon.
And it was just, like, my feet in the grass.
Whoa,
and then, like,
so arty.
doing a cartwheel.
Oh,
and then, like,
damn.
wearing Toms. It kind of looks like a Toms commercial.
Wow, so you showed free feet.
Yeah.
You broke the one rule.
I was 15.
Oh, that's the other rule. The second rule.
I was 15.
Don't be
I
15.
thought my child feet was okay to show on the
you
internet.
were so wrong.
Okay. I hate how many things the internet has ruined.
Yeah. Feet. An important part of our bodies.
I think one of my first vinyls was also a Florence and the Machine. Though I used to have a really good Florence impersonation. Where I would mostly just sing the vowels that she sings. Because it is hard to know lyrics if you don't already know the lyrics. To, like, pick out what the lyrics are. Unless she's doing her talk sing thing, which she does more in this album.
Sure. And listen, I love... She... I don't know how to describe her belt, but I've always called it, like, a warble.
Yeah.
It's a very, like... It's a unique sort of thing. It's different than a lot of other belters, and I love it. It's very, like... It's a very powerful musical experience for me.
It's full of vibrato, and it definitely feels very, like, in her brand of, like, pagan witchy. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it feels kind of like it's not like that it would exist in other time periods than just contemporary time period.
Absolutely.
Cool. You don't hear that a lot.
Absolutely. It's a bravado that echoes back through the ages.
Yeah.
Or vibrato. Anyway. Yeah, so that's good. And then you saw Into the Woods.
I just saw it,
today.
yeah.
Was this a special Into the Woods occasion? I've heard a lot of people talking about Into the Woods.
It is, yeah, because it has, like, a spectacular cast that also rotates, I think.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Sarah Bareilles, I think,
Whoa.
was affiliated. I need to do more background on where this production started and whatever. But I saw Patina Miller from Pippin, who's my wife. She's in a PowerPoint of mine from, like, 2017, which outlines when I figured out I wasn't straight. And it's, like, there's, like, photos of her from when she was leading player in Pippin.
Thank you, Patina.
And I didn't realize that she hadn't been on Broadway since that production.
Wow.
which was like 10 years ago. She looks exactly the same, and she's gorgeous. And she's been on Madam Secretary since then and a bunch of other things. But just a stunning voice and hasn't aged a day in 10 years and is a queer root of mine. And the other one is Gavin Creel of many things.
I'm sorry. I love the theater. I constantly hit a wall by not knowing who any of the performers are.
Yeah, I think I mostly know, like, of shows that I haven't seen. I know them through, like, the original Broadway cast recording, like, their names coming up all the time. But Gavin Creel was in a production of Hair in 2009. He was in Eloise at the Plaza at Christmas time as a film. And I think he dated Zachary Quinto at some point.
Fun. That's nice. That's great.
When Zachary first came out around Heroes era.
Yes.
I think he was dating Gavin Creel, and it was just like, oh my god, super couple. What else has he been in? He's been in, like, Guys and Dolls and, like, a bunch of things. But he and Aaron Tveit and Jonathan Groff are sort of my, like, triangle of men. But Gavin Creel maybe being, like, the less famous of the three. But I always felt like was in the same
Those people are about
caliber.
equally famous to me.
Yeah.
Which is that I don't know who they are.
Oh, okay. Jonathan Groff is...
Oh, I'm sorry. Jonathan Groff, I do know. He is the most famous of them.
Yeah. And then
Easily.
Aaron Tveit was in Next to Normal and then Moulin Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of other things. But those are two identifiable ones.
Gotcha.
And Catch Me If You Can, the musical.
Norbert Leo Butts.
Yeah.
There we go.
He was
in the Webster Conservatory, though, before our time. Well before our time.
I would imagine, yeah. Because
Yeah.
he was in Wicked.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
When I was in 4th grade.
Yeah. Okay, fine. But yeah, Norby, big guy. Yeah.
Some would say this is a Norby fan podcast.
Yeah, we're a Norby fan podcast. We're gonna watch Fosse Verdon, where he plays Paddy Chayefsky. It's gonna be great. Yeah, so there you go. But anything else to say about Into the Woods? Did you have a good time?
I had a good time.
Were there giants in the sky?
There was, and they did it wonderfully.
Amazing.
And Stephanie J. Block is in it with her husband, which one thing that's cute about...
With her husband!
They play Baker and Baker's wife.
Cute!
I will say that, like, I was afraid that I would peak in high school playing The Witch and Into the Woods, and it was hard to put that feeling aside and enjoy it, but Patina is the perfect casting for that deep insecurity of mine.
There will be more productions of Into the Woods if you really want to play the witch one day.
I don't know. Yeah. From where I'm sitting today, I couldn't sing it with my voice changing. But Patina's, I think, perfect casting. I remember being really intimidated hearing that Meryl Streep was going to be in the movie when I was in college.
Lol. LOL.
But yeah, Patina is like just perfect for it.
We all know how that shook out because we all saw the film Into the Woods. Everyone saw it. We all remember it really well.
I saw it. I usually see whatever like live action musical comes out on Christmas, if one does. So I've seen like Dreamgirls and
Greatest Showman
and
Les Miserables.
And Mary Poppins and
Returns.
There's been less.
Yeah, it's I guess the pandemic kind of slowed that down a little bit, but we are overdue. It's a nice tradition to have at least one. West Side Story.
I actually skipped. West Side
Mistake.
Story. I probably was and wasn't. Yeah, because there is a trans person who I look up to in that production who plays nobody. But other than that.
Oh, well, it was a great movie, was my overall point.
I just am not an Ansel fan.
He is the weakest element. He does not derail the movie. The movie is so strong that, like, even having a non-ideal Tony, the thing is just so impossibly fucking good outside of that it really... For me, it was not distracting, as someone who's also not really an Ansel fan.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah. Check it out. Streaming somewhere. On one of my rival platforms, I bet. Bet it's streaming on that nefarious HBO Max, but one day we'll get it on Netflix.
Oh, they just dropped on the Roku channel on Underdog. They dropped the production of Heathers that I saw in London.
Whoa!
Which is
Just
like
dropped it?
Yeah, it's on streaming.
Amazing.
And it's, I
love a pro shot.
I think you'll enjoy it because and that's actually interesting that you love a pro shot. That can be a controversial opinion in theater.
So, really? Okay, I love it. I love anything that makes theater more accessible without spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
I agree. I'm with you, and I feel like I'm alone in that sometimes.
What? That's wild.
This production of Heathers, should it be the same cast that I saw, which I think it is, if like everybody's playing the same role that they played, it's really, the way that like Americans do British accents in funny, probably like not regionally placed ways, that is probably amusing for UK people, is how I finally felt that catharsis of watching a show and being like, wow, like these American accents are all over the map. They're not bad necessarily, but like they're like the really distinct dialects of like super Michigan, and there's a super Boston, and there's a super like super
but it's all
Long
America.
Island.
It's impossible to know where Heathers is set. Heathers the musical.
Yeah, even though like it definitely takes place in the Midwest, like canonically, but I think Veronica is supposed to be the center of wherever it is, and everyone else has different accents.
I see.
Which is very amusing, I think.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Dropped on the Roku channel, which means it's free, because unlike my beloved Netflix, you don't have to pay for the Roku channel.
One thing that I would like to say about your platform, Netflix, is it is the only anything online that I've never had to change a password for. It's been the same password.
We are very unsecure. We let you get hacked, and that's part of what we're selling to you.
I think we've had the same password since, and haven't had to change it for any reason.
Yep.
Since.
And your information has been stolen. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to do your job for you? You change your password. I'm not going to tell you when.
That's just so funny, because so many things like Amazon Prime and stuff, like two-factor authentication, whatever, and then Netflix, it's like, no, you're never going to have to change it.
You're never going to have to change it. That is the Netflix guarantee.
Like zero, also like there isn't like a character amount, there isn't like letters and numbers, there isn't like a special character.
Your password is your own at Netflix.com.
And I love that for you guys.
Thank you. And for you, the consumer. Yes, and to round out our little musical weekend, I got together with some friends yesterday. And for obvious reasons, we watched Diana the Musical, which is streaming now on... Oh, where? Oh, where is it streaming? Oh, Netflix.com. We have all the finest musical offerings, including the pro shot of Diana the Musical. And, dropping kayfabe for a second. It sucked. It's fucking terrible. But I did watch it with 3 friends, and we made jokes at it, and we had a great old time. But it is essentially an unlistenable piece of musical theater. You know how in a real musical, where a song will happen, and then it'll pause for a dialogue scene, and then the song will keep happening, and eventually the song will resolve?
Yeah.
You're aware of this very typical structure. Not in Diana the Musical. They do a song for a little while. It never resolves. There's a dialogue scene, and then a new song starts. You never get the ending of any song in Diana the Musical.
That's so interesting.
It's edging the musical. You never get to, the bass never drops. You never nut in Diana the Musical. I never hear the ta-dum sound when I'm watching the Diana the Musical.
Maybe that's thematic of her life. Maybe
wow, because it was cut short, just like every single song in Diana the Musical.
Exactly.
It's an artistic statement by the keyboardist for Bon Jovi who wrote the music for Diana the Musical.
Oh, interesting.
Not even John Bon Jovi. Just who you want for your British monarchy musical is the keyboardist from Bon Jovi. Just who you want when you are telling the story of Diana Spencer, Princess of Wales.
I have so many questions now. Like
you shouldn't.
I wasn't interested in seeing it, but you've laid out so many interesting things that, I mean, it's probably it sounds like to you it's not even camp.
There are also so many individual instances throughout the musical where they rhyme the same word with the same word.
That's maddening.
They my friend had warned me about one moment that like drove them nuts, but as I was reading the subtitles throughout this, it's constant. They're always rhyming like people with people and believe with believe, which again, like believe, nothing rhymes with believe. You couldn't think of another word that rhymes with believe. No one's ever done it. It's never been used in a song before. The word believe. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm just of the thought, like, if you're gonna do that, just don't rhyme. Like, just, like, say what you're gonna say.
Just say what you're gonna say. And their big anthem that comes is the line. Like, you know how in a good musical, like, someone wrote a really brilliant line or lyric and they'll repeat it a few times?
Mm-hmm.
That instance in Diana the Musical is the phrase, "a pretty, pretty girl in a pretty, pretty dress." Which is the most nothing burger line. That's her big triumphant Act 1 closer. And then they repeat it so many times in Act 2. The phrase, "a pretty, pretty girl in a pretty, pretty dress," is like my shot. is their nonstop. That is their triumphant on my own song, is "a pretty, pretty girl in a pretty, pretty dress."
Is it Diana singing it, or is it other people?
Yes, and both. Sometimes she is calling herself a pretty, pretty girl in a pretty, pretty dress, and sometimes it's like her gay stylist who sings about her wearing a fuckity, fuckity, fuck you dress.
Was that a line?
Well, in the Netflix version, they say feckity.
No.
Feck?
No.
Because it's a world of difference.
No.
It's not camp. I know camp. It's not camp. It's just bad. Not everything that's bad is camp, and I need the internet to get it through their fucking skull. That sometimes something is bad in a boring way, like Diana the Musical.
Bad in a boring way is a great take for media in general. We need to start saying it more.
We need to. It's not everything that's bad is secretly good. Not everything that's bad
in a boring way.
Bad in a boring way.
You know what's not bad in a boring way?
6, which I watched a slime tutorial of after Diana the Musical. I'm sorry, I just have to get it out. Just one last thing before we talk about Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I ruined your transition on purpose. I'm sorry. Netflix kayfabe back on. I love Netflix, and then everything on Netflix is good. I watched a slime tutorial of 6, and it was great.
It's so good.
I had a great time. I didn't really know. I knew it was about the wives.
Did you watch the British one?
They're doing British accents, but they sounded fake. But so many real British accents sound fake to me that I have no idea.
You saw the right one, because the one that's on Broadway right now, they don't do British accents.
That doesn't bother me at all.
No, but I realized this when I was seeing a really good production of Hamlet that was Irish, I realized how much of, like, the dialect of Shakespeare sounds better, and, like, the lines actually, like, feel like they make more sense, and, like, the way they're structured feels like they go together better in an Irish accent. And for 6, there's so many, like, little, like, cheeky, like, UK, like, slang things that make more sense when it's British. In the American accents, it felt like it took away, like the fit-as and, like, the in-its of, like...
Yeah, they do throw some in-its in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fun. And it was a class project similar to In the Heights.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was a class project.
That's amazing. Well, when I'm watching it, I could see in my third eye, I saw a moment where someone was trying to come up with a piece of musical theater and was watching the cell block tango at the same time they read the, like, that children's, learning technique that they use throughout the show of, like, married, beheaded, died, married, beheaded, survived, and someone just having, like, dropping their papers, like, just having, like, a moment of fucking inspiration. And you know what? Good. That's a good basis for a musical show.
I love it.
It's good. All of the songs are really fun. All the performers that I saw in this illegitimate copy of Six were really fun. And I had a great time. Would recommend either going to Broadway or, finding a nice slime tutorial.
Yeah, the slime tutorial, because it's such like a concert-based thing of
It honestly kind of works.
Of musicals that are impossible to see bootlegs of and are fine to see, this is definitely like one of the top ones that you could watch as a bootleg, because it's supposed to be as if it's like a big concert.
A big pop concert.
There aren't really sets. It's just
exactly. It's one location. All 6 characters are on stage the entire time.
Yeah.
We're usually only focusing on one at a time, so as long as the person is vaguely pointing their cell phone in that direction, it works pretty well.
Yeah, those characters too, I think each one, they like blended. I think when they were like developing it, they picked a pop star or like 2 or 3 pop stars. We
read the casting booklet last night after we watched it, just to see. And you have one that's like, Beyonce. And you have one that's like, well, it's a little Katy Perry, it's a little of this. You have one that is obviously Adele.
One that's like very, very Ariana Grande, but also
there is one that looks and sounds like Ariana Grande. There's one that is Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, and then there's an Alicia Keys one. And they all had other people listed, but those are the most obvious, like, that's what we're doing here. That is who this person's musical stylings and fashion stylings and dance. It was all really good.
Yeah, it's a fun. I think that was the last show that I saw before pandemic.
Wow.
Yeah, because I think
it came back, still going, I assume.
I think I saw it in previews. Yes,
it's a little hit.
It's great.
It's a little hit.
It's a bop, and it was a bop in the UK.
It's a bop. I was thinking about because I want to start seeing a Broadway show for my birthday every year. I think that's a commitment I'm making to myself.
Yeah.
I think I do have to see Hadestown though, because I've never seen it. I don't really know anything about it.
I won't give any spoilers.
I know it's Greek mythology.
I won't tell you what happens to Orpheus and Eurydice.
Okay, well, I have some idea. But I don't know any other specifics about it really. I've heard like one song from it. But that sounds exactly like my kind of shit. So I'm excited to go see it. I should get that ticket.
I think you would like the Aeneas Mitchell concept album too, because Bon Iver's on it.
But I won't listen to that until I've seen it.
Okay, because
I don't like to listen to soundtracks before I've seen the show.
Interesting.
Because I don't have any of the context.
Except for Hamilton.
Right, but it was a sing-through. I did make the exception there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Where I was like, I am getting all of the plot of this. I am missing the visual element of it, but...
Yeah.
I don't have to read a Wikipedia summary while I'm doing this. But I have a similar principle to like movies and stuff where I'm like, I don't really like to know a lot about something before I see it. I want to like have like this new experience, and there's a thrill of discovery. But it's harder with Broadway because I don't get to see nearly as many Broadway shows as I do movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we can talk about Crazy Ex-Girlfriend now. We did it. We covered our little Broadway weekend.
Hell yeah.
Great. So of course, after last time's cliffhanger, we are talking about season 1, episode 13. Josh and I Go to Los Angeles, directed by Michael Patrick Jan of The State, written by Aline Broche McKenna. In this episode, Trent decides to go along with Rebecca's little plan. And Rebecca and Josh and all the tenants decide to take their litigation against City Water to court. And we finally join them in court. And at the same time, Greg, he obviously can't let go of this flame that he has for Rebecca. And Heather says, "Go get her, man. Go after her." And he does. But when he arrives at the courthouse, Rebecca and Josh are sharing a little kiss.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That was a whole episode minus one very important introduction of Audra Levine.
So I was wondering, before I sat down for this episode, because the last time I watched it, I was in, again, COVID fog, don't remember anything that was going on. I was wondering, will Audra Levine still really, really do it for me? And unquestionably, yes. I am a weak man. That is my type.
That's so funny.
It's fucked up, and it leads me to a lot of pain. But I'm like, no one is hotter to me than Audra Levine.
What are the qualities?
Mean.
You like a mean lady?
Hot, mean, bougie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well-to-do.
That's what's so funny to me is because you don't typically enjoy people with those lifestyles.
Yes, it's bad for me. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Unless it's what does this translate to in, like, the masculine? Like, in the bisexual spectrum of it all? Like, are mean, bougie men?
No, it does not translate.
So it's Greg to Audra.
Exactly. That is the duality of dick.
And I am going to speak to the binary nature of the bisexual song, which makes sense for the time.
It made sense for the time, although I have also been questioning the use of the term bisexual, and I know it means more than, just literal bi, but it does imply the binary. So I've been reconsidering the term.
I think until other people start being better about the two or more, like, I think cis people usually tend to just be like boys and girls. Like, when they hear bisexual, they tend to go boys and girls,
right.
or say boys and girls a lot, or he and she, or whatever. Anyway, what is the non-binary in between Greg and Audra Levine?
That is an excellent question.
You haven't found the right trans type yet.
I think that's correct. I have not found the right trans type, though I see trans and non-binary folks like a heavily tattooed, chain smoking, like,
it's most of us, yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, but there's a type of person I'm trying to capitulate in my mind, and I'm having trouble, like, describing them because I'm bad at describing what people look like, and I don't know if that's, like, a flaw of mine. But yeah, I don't know.
The standard, like, the TM, like, non-binary, yeah. That the one represented in media. Kind of like a variation of, like, strong female character meets, like, sad boy.
Right, yeah, and I just, yes.
Wait, which is great?
Shit, yeah, right,
Okay.
shit, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess, it makes sense. It is what it is.
Complete sense.
I am trying to, I've just had enough bad dating experiences in my life that I'm like, I need to consciously break the mean person appeals to me pattern in my romantic life. You know what I mean?
It's hard to break out of.
As hot as I find an Audra Levine or a Greg who's also mean,
that's true. He's kind of
it usually just leads to me feeling bad.
Yes.
And I probably need to, like, really consciously work away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun on these things to be like, this is something I should do, and you hope that you can speak it into existence, but
gotta keep saying it.
Yeah, you gotta keep saying it until it finally happens. Like, yeah, I wish it wasn't this way. I wish you could just be like, I want to change, and then you change.
And it's that easy, folks. But yes, Audra, we finally meet Audra Levine after many, many episodes of setup. I think she's name dropped even in the pilot, maybe.
It's so confusing. It just makes me wonder, like, who this was inspired by, I
know. I think it comes from, like, a very real experience. It feels like it comes from, like, a real place, and, like, children pitted against each other, especially within an insular community. You know what I mean?
I had one of those. I had a frenemy that only in, like, college years, or, like, middle college years, did we completely depart paths. I think it just became clear that I was not going down the path that was paved for me, and she fit well into it, and so she's just doing the things that make sense on that path, and I am not a girl, so it went different ways.
But two roads diverged in a yellow wood.
We were supposed to be born on the same day. Our parents became friends when they were pregnant.
Wow.
And she was born 2 weeks before me, and I was born a week after. And
that became a metaphor for your whole lives.
So we were in, exactly. And so we were in elementary school together, and it was really competitive, especially with friend groups, and she's still friends with the same friend group that she's had elementary school, middle school, high school. And we had a tough moment in middle school because that was like the best time to pit like 13-year-old girls against each other. And then high school was a little bit easier. We went to different schools in high school, so that's why it was easier. And then it just, by the time there was the debutante cult moment, and then there was a departure. But at least there was no big blow up. It wasn't like this, but this was always, I think I had a lot of anxiety dreams that were similar to this rap battle.
To the rap battle between two Jewish American princesses.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was curious what they both support Israel.
That's such a funny beat of it that I think is... Hallie talked about this a little bit last time as well, is that, like, there's this thing about Rebecca that I don't know how much the show is in on, but it becomes very... I think, like, satirical of a particular kind of person.
Okay.
Who, you know, like in the next episode that we're going to talk about, where she says, like, holy Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Paula.
Right.
It's like a very particular kind of rich, white, liberal woman. That, like, yes, of course, like, while you're having a progressive off against each other, and listen, you know, I do not purport to be any kind of expert on the state of Israel, but that too, while having essentially like a charity dick measuring competition between the two of them, that like to drop like, but of course I support Israel, and I would never, you know, it's a very funny look at a particular kind of person, a particular brain space. I don't know, it's an interesting joke.
Yeah, I think I've just been in a current, like, in the 2020s vacuum of Free Palestine, that I think it was just, like, it jumped out in a way that I was like, oh, I would not have noticed this when I was in a different... Yeah, I would have just been like, oh, it's a reference to being Jewish. Like, I wouldn't...
I mean, right, and that is part... Like, there's a lot of... Did you watch The Rehearsal? I can't remember.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
I think I had a dream about him.
About Nathan Fielder?
I think I had a dream.
Was he giving you that good dick?
Maybe.
Yeah. Come over here.
I definitely had a dream about him last night. I wonder if I reimagined The Rehearsal based on how other...
you rehearsed The Rehearsal in your mind. I think
sometimes when people describe a piece of media to me, I then have a dream that is like fragments of how it's been described to me.
You rehearsed watching The Rehearsal in your mind.
Exactly. I have that much social anxiety. Yeah, I rehearse watching things that people
rehearsing. Yeah, amazing. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, so that's a fun. I mean, I like the rap battle. I don't think it works particularly as a piece of rap. But I think it's a fun. The performers do a lot with it, and there's some very clever lines in it. You know, there's a lot of fun little wordplay.
This is like where if Hamilton had like not gone all the way.
Yeah.
It could have really
ended
landed
right
like this.
there.
It could have landed in this world and been kind of Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes.
In it.
Some Schoolhouse Rock has bullshit. But like being egged on like Seder plates, you know, that's a funny joke. That's a good bit. Yeah. There's so many of those in there.
There were a lot. Yeah. I'm glad I had the subtitles because I was like, yes, I feel like I'm getting some kind of education.
I'm absorbing. I'm learning a lot about contemporary Jewish culture from this rap between these two characters.
There was a reference of Chinatown in this episode, which is funny because I had just recently thrown shade at Chinatown.
You had thrown shade more, I think, at people who like Chinatown.
And then it was funny because it was affirmed where she was like, Chinatown's a great movie.
And people were like, plot. I've never heard of it. Which is very funny for like people Paula and Daryl's age. I'm like, they've heard of Chinatown, but it's a funny gag.
Yeah. I just like the idea that like West Covina like doesn't like just exists in like the moment of whatever's on cable
right.
And has like
Paul is talking about in the next episode the 2.5-star rom-com that I'm sure is like always on.
Yeah.
These bad Kate Hudson movies of the 2000s.
Yeah.
That's all the culture they have.
I feel like we need to have a watch party of like Fool's Gold and like that shit. 10
If
Things
you-
I Hate, or not 10 Things I Hate About You. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yes. Win a Date with Tad Hamilton.
Is good, right?
Um.
I think it's good.
Okay, I've never seen it.
I don't think I've seen it since I was a teen,
Okay.
but my teen
It's not my. That's not my era of rom com.
What's your era of rom-com?
I have a couple. I like a late 80s, early 90s rom-com.
You've been in the Nora Ephron.
I've been in the Nora Ephron zone, and I do think truly nobody ever did it better. Your When Harry's Met Sally, your Sleeplesses in Seattle, your You've Got Mail.
What's her most recent? Like, what are her most recent projects?
Death, I think. Her most recent project is Decomposing.
When did she die?
I guess that's a good question. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Nora Ephron is alive. All right, looking it up. She hasn't done a lot of stuff recently, if she is alive.
Yeah, I just don't know what her most. What would be?
No,
her...
she died in 2012. That's right.
Okay.
So she's been dead for a minute. Her most recent was Julie and Julia.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
I never saw that.
I haven't seen it since literally it came out.
Literally.
But
yeah.
that was
She
like-
did that Bewitched movie with Will Ferrell
And Nicole Kidman.
and Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
She did not direct a lot of movies. It's really like 7 movies, and she wrote the script for When Harry Met Sally. But yeah, so that's her most recent. It was back in 2009, and that was her final film.
Damn.
But I also, and of course, a Moonstruck would be in that era as well, a classic, beautiful rom-com. And then I like some old 30s and 40s rom-coms.
Whoa.
Your Katharine Hepburn and your Cary Grant.
Oh yeah,
I love A Holiday. I love Bringing Up Baby. I love The Philadelphia Story.
I love I do love Katharine Hepburn. Katharine Hepburn is your type.
Katharine Hepburn is the prototype for my type. Katharine Hepburn is the mold my type is made from.
It's what is it, the Supreme, what's the head Supreme, what's that called?
At
in a
Netflix?
coven. No, like in a coven.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway.
I'm not in a coven.
I feel like a coven is a sorority for gay people.
Gotcha. She is the Omega Sentinel of my she is the master mold of my. I used the wrong X-Men reference. I'm so sorry, everyone. She's the master mold of my.
I loved and still do. The Apartment was one of my favorite movies for a long time.
Amazing film.
Yeah, and I do need to revisit it.
It's a great film. A sad little rom-com.
Yeah.
If you can call it a rom-com.
Yeah. Well,
It's
I
like
think-
romantic.
Yeah, I think it definitely has an edge that's unexpected for its time, and probably because my little mentally ill brain was like, ooh, spicy,
Saucy.
Yeah,
His bosses are using his apartment to fuck.
I think more just like her trying to kill herself and
Yeah.
it still being a
No,
rom
of course,
com.
yeah.
It's like did you ever hear of the musical Promises?
No.
So that had Sean Hayes from
Okay.
Will and Grace and playing a straight person.
Whoa.
And Kristen Chenoweth.
Okay.
And it's the plot of The Apartment, but it's a jukebox musical. So
What jukebox?
they have songs like Say a Little Prayer for You, The Moment I Wake Up, and
Yeah.
like a bunch of others.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah,
Promises.
I liked it.
Okay.
I saw it as a teen.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Rock on.
Yeah, kind of like a middle period for Kristen Chenoweth, like a post-Wicked sort of.
But where is she going? What is she gonna
I
do?
think post-Pushing Daisies, but just sort of like in there.
Pre-Glee.
Exactly.
before she played April Rhodes.
I was impressed with references to Taylor Swift, Elon Musk, Shonda Rhimes, all still
Still relevant to this
relevant.
day. Still
Yeah.
fighting strong.
I think that's how she described Audra Levine.
Yes.
Yeah. Who didn't like Tarantino? I wrote this in my notes. It was like, oh, this person, but I don't like Tarantino was like something that was said. Never mind.
I don't remember that. I failed you, and I'm sorry.
But this episode was the fallout of our little scheme theme that we were talking about last pod. I really like the Drip song,
Oh, the Les Mis song. Yeah, it's really, really good.
but I think it went on about a minute too long. But I really liked it.
I get you. I was not like, ugh, when is this thing gonna be over? But yeah, maybe it just like overstayed its welcome by like a touch.
Yeah.
And also like BJ Novak.
That was random.
Yeah, it was I think that was a, like, okay, this is a joke we've made. What is, like, the highest level of celebrity we can get on our budget? And the answer ends up being BJ Novak.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was attached to anyone on that project.
Not to my knowledge.
I think that was, like, middle... No, maybe it was right at the end.
I think The Office is, like, just done or, like, about to be done.
I thought it was maybe, like, a Breaking Bad sort of reference, too.
Oh, when he's wearing the... Well, he's... BJ Novak has an ecstasy factory.
Yeah.
But I guess drug making was all the rage back then.
Yeah.
back then. Although Breaking Bad also off the air at that point.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, so... But he is wearing... I mean, like... In the popular parlance, like, a guy making drugs is wearing... like a yellow hazmat suit, you know, like that's because that's what Breaking Bad did. So that's an easy shorthand for us in the audience to go, that guy's making drugs. But it worked, and White Josh is there, but notably, he's not singing. He's just marching.
What is going on?
What is going on? I was paying attention to it. I'm like, oh, White Josh is in this number. Oh, he's not in this number. He's just clapping. He's just standing there.
This feels like when I was cheerleading and they would put me in the front for dancing sometimes, and then and they'd be like, because you're one of the strongest dancers, but then like
Amazing.
other times they wouldn't. They'd put me like in the middle, and I was like, what am I doing? This
What
is all
did I do
know.
wrong?
This is what I'm here for.
This is my whole world. I'm a cheerleader. But Mom, I'm a cheerleader.
I'm a cheerleader.
But I'm a cheerleader with Natasha Lyonne.
I was definitely gay as a cheerleader.
Still am, but
Still
definitely
am.
was back then too.
I was back then, didn't know.
I'm not gay no more.
But looking back, boy, was I gay. And I wonder how many listeners were on my cheer squad. And if you're listening...
Shout out in the comments.
If you're listening, I was gay for you. I was gay
And
for
still
you all,
am.
And still am.
You have my number.
And I'm incredibly single, and you have my Instagram. Do you have anything else to say about this episode? Because it looks like I wrote more for the other episode.
Yeah, no, it's good. We're resolving this plot. I like the resolution of they don't win,
Yeah.
but it's a moral victory.
Yeah.
It's a personal victory, and everyone's happy, and they get to go to Raging Waters.
Have you-
Although Rebecca and Josh don't go.
Have you ever... I do remember thinking through this episode, I was like, I've lost the thread of what is wrong. So I'm glad they keep singing about water, because at
Yes.
least I
It's
can...
all water themed.
At least I can be like, okay, it's attached to water. This is like
Attached to
that.
water.
This is like that Ibsen play. This stuff in the water.
It's the plot of Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're diverting water away.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We're diverting water. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, something.
I just knew it was water related, and I
Yeah.
was like, that's enough for me to buy in.
There you go.
But I did lose the little scheme plot of what the stakes were. So.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's kind of, for me, like watching a Marvel movie where I'm like, I have no idea what the stakes are, but everyone seems really invested.
That is why I stopped watching. I'm like, I don't understand, like, what is my emotional relationship to this?
No idea, but
Got
they
no fucking idea.
really
What does this
care.
guy want? He's got, like, an orb. Alright, orb. These guys and their fucking orbs.
A lot of orbs, a lot of stones.
Big orbs. You know, it's really the greatest time in cinema history for beams. If you want to, like, laser beams have never had a greater time.
Like laser beams that go to the sky and open a
Beams
portal.
of light, yeah. But,
Yeah.
like, also characters are shooting beams.
Oh.
Also, they are, like, receiving beams.
Okay.
Plot points are, like, we gotta link this beam. You know, like,
That's true.
beams are just having a moment right
Beams
now.
are-
Beam-based cinema.
Beam. That's true. Beam me up, Scotty.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh, that guy's so hot. Wait, is that Sean Penn? No. Is that
Simon Pegg?
Is that Simon Pegg?
That's Simon Pegg.
My
As
God,
Scotty
I
in the
thought he-
films.
I
thought it
guess I
was
thought he was so hot. Like
He's Simon Pegg is hot. Have you seen him? Simon Pegg is hot. He's a good-looking man.
no.
You need to watch those Mission Impossible movies. He'll hold a little snack in those,
Is he you in that movie?
basically.
Yeah.
If I were in the Mission Impossible movies, that is the part I would be playing. Yeah.
Little-
You better believe he's got his keyboard and he's like,
hacking the mainframe.
Ethan, you gotta go this way. You know, that's all I want to do. I don't want to be Ethan. I don't want to run, but I want to be like, all right, Ethan, the coordinates are right in front of you.
And the power has to get cut at some point.
Yeah. Oh, and you better believe I am the guy to do it, or I'm the guy who has to deal with it.
And you also get like one line where you get to be funny in that moment.
100%.
Yeah.
Where I go, oh,
well, sounds like...
Well, I guess my popcorn's stuck in the microwave.
Yeah, something like that.
Absolutely. I can kill that part. Are you kidding me? I need to get cast in a role like that fucking tomorrow.
This is your audition. I'm going to send this when people are like, hey, like, we're looking for this, and when I'm famous, and people are like, we're looking for this and that, I'll be like, I have the perfect
guy for this.
I have the guy. Just listen to this.
Absolutely. But yes, we can move on to season 1, episode Fart.
It opens with like they reference also the funny best friend with answers. It was like a direct reference to who we are.
To what we were talking about. Yeah, the Judy Greer.
Yes, I'm so glad they said
so
her by
glad
name.
We shout out my fucking queen, Judy Greer.
I don't know if I've ever told you this before. I used to have, as a kid, a crippling fear of Joan Cusack.
Fear of Joan Cusack? You're watching School of Rock and you're like, fuck me, dude! Can't jump scare me like that!
That's what's funny.
Fuck!
For some reason, School of Rock was the only exception. But
you're listening to Toy Story 2 and you're like, God damn, stop!
Oh, that is Joan Cusack. No, I don't know what it was. She was an ice princess, but something... She had a poster up on Highway 40 in St. Louis of her, like, being like, you shouldn't...
I'm Joan Cusack.
Yeah, like, I don't know what it was
Watch
for.
High Fidelity. I'm Joan Cusack.
But I had a huge... Wait, isn't
what about Addams Family Values? Well, she's also in it.
She's hot in that. Like, there was, like, a turning point, and I
was about to say, like, would your big boner not overcome your fear of Joan Cusack and Addams Family Values?
I have wondered if it was a queer thing. Like, if I was, like, afraid...
You were scared of your feelings for Joan Cusack.
Yeah, but her voice
you ever see, like, broadcast news when she's, like, running through the newsroom with, like, a tape? Like, we gotta get on the air!
I feel like her and... Drew Barrymore's voices exist in the same universe, and there was something about her voice.
Their voices are friends, yeah.
Their voices, they had the same coach.
They're vocal cord sisters.
like the Harry Potter one other brother feather in the wand.
Oh, okay, I get you.
Oh,
they both have the same feather. Gave you that scar.
Yeah, that moment.
It's curious that you should be destined for this one, when its brother gave you that scar.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. When I badmouth Harry Potter now, it's not that I wasn't the most into it in the entire world for decades.
But I think if I brought this to therapy, especially when it's been like...
Brought the Joan Cusack.
I've tried to bring yellow there.
Doing like immersion therapy with Joan Cusack.
But I conquered it at some point. Same with Dr. Seuss, and still not really with yellow, but like these are like weird irrational fears I had.
I get you. Okay, that's interesting. That's fascinating.
I liked the YOLO before I FOMO. I want that on a shirt.
Okay, I did not. I was glad we cut to commercial. I was like, get out of here. I don't want to.
It was kind of stupid.
Got YOLO for FOMO.
But it was one of those classic lines from these shows that are just like quippy for the sake of being quippy, and it doesn't really land, and it's just sort of a time filler.
It just hangs there, and like, what, were we short on time? We had to leave all this in?
Yeah, because this is a CW, like, they did have to, like, fill time.
They did have to, I mean, it depends, because I'm sure sometimes they were also cutting things to make the 41-minute time slot or whatever it is. But also... Yeah, sometimes you're like, shit, we came in like 30 seconds wrong. We need to add 30 seconds throughout the episode. Just like the most weird asinine shit. Not on Netflix. Netflix, you can be whatever length you want. You can be a whole fucking hour every episode if you want to.
And it's pretty great that you put this show on Netflix finally.
Yes, finally. I was glad, just for when I had COVID, I was so glad that I put Crazy Ex-Girlfriend on Netflix.
I'm so glad we got to meet Maya, who I just Googled is 34. And like...
Esther Pavinsky.
I think of...
What a straight cutie.
Yeah. I mean, she's bi in this.
I meant straight up cutie. You know what I mean? Like, what a bona fide...
I thought you were breaking news to me that
she's straight. No, I'm sorry.
And that, like, her as an actress, which she might be heterosexual, but I just, like, wasn't ready to hear
I have no idea. I'm sorry. I meant, like, bona fide adorable.
She's so cute. And also what's weird about this, she must have been on another project. Maybe she was in the Mindy project. But I still think of her as being like breaking, like up and comer. But then now I'm like, this was made in 2015.
Right. So she's been around for a minute. She was a UCB person for a long time, one of those. And now it feels like, at least for now, the cast of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is complete. Maya is here. There will be other changes and additions throughout the show, but this feels like the first proper depiction of the ensemble.
This
Do you
is
know what
the
I mean?
Avenger.
Yeah, we have the law office is filled with our favorite regulars now. They're all here. Jim, Tim, Maya, gang's all here. George, everyone is present and in attendance. We have all of Josh's friends. They're here. They're ready to go. This is the crew that will essentially carry us through the rest of the show.
Sorry, I'm looking up an actress who exists in the same universe who you know by name. Lauren Lapkus. Exists in the same universe as Esther.
Oh, I love Lauren Lapkus. I've listened to so many hours of Lauren Lapkus's voice. It's just it's incredible.
What is she the voice on?
Well, she does a lot of podcasts. She does Comedy Bang Bang and Freedom is another show that I listen to. And I don't know, she's just very funny.
Yeah, I feel like she's the 21st century standard of her type.
Funny, quirky lady.
Yeah.
What do you know Lauren Lapkus from?
Many things, but I remember when I saw Esther, I was like, a new one.
Oh, one of those. Yeah, sure, I get you.
Yeah. So that was an intrusive thought that I had to.
That's okay. You had to follow that thread. You had to follow that bird. But yes, we finally get this payoff that Rebecca is broke. that she all those instances throughout this season that they flash back to where she spent tens of thousands of dollars at a time, sometimes for a goof.
I think about this scene a lot when I check my bank account, actually. That's one reason. This and the Bye song are reasons this, these last few episodes super stuck out for me as what I remember about Crazy Ex-Girlfriend as an entire canon. It's these few episodes, and I must have just it must have really hit something when the Bye song happened and when Esther came on, and then this money montage. I had a similar imprint of the scene from WALL-E. Well, many scenes of WALL-E where it's just like a sea of trash stacked on each other and skyscrapers of trash. And for a while, every time I opened a trash can or a recycling bin and threw something away that was single waste, I couldn't stop thinking of that scene, and it really haunted me into recycling, even though me, a person, is really not going to do anything recycling.
But Wally will know.
But Wally will know.
Wally will remember that you did not pollute. You gave a hoot and you did not pollute.
And a similar scene, this did a similar scene to my brain with money. Is whenever I start to overspend, I think of this scene pretty frequently. Which is funny.
Stories are impactful and they stick with you, and you can see a cautionary tale of someone who, I'm not saying this about you, but watching Rebecca deal with money for the first time, really oh, I don't have any of that. I never had to think about money. A person who structured their life in that way, and just you see it all coming back to her. But it's, and at the same time we got this Josh and Valencia thing, which I found pretty refreshing as far as TV relationship drama goes. You know what I mean?
Not breaking up.
Of them
cheating.
Yeah, exactly. That I don't have to now watch 3 episodes of Josh going I gotta get Valencia back. You know what I mean? I'm really glad I don't have to watch that. And very thankful to the writers of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend for that.
Yeah, I'm always confronted when watching something like that of oh, there's an option not to break up if somebody cheated. Because in my mind, media and also just I don't know.
There's that song, Stand By Your Man.
Yeah, like Beyonce's Lemonade.
Yeah.
And then this.
Which were a very similar time.
Yeah, have me like, oh.
You can stick with someone, or someone can stick with you through cheating. It is an option.
Yeah.
But normally you just think of like Carrie Underwood smashing up your car.
That's me as fuck. Yeah, that's like, that's me.
I just think about her digging a key into the side of this pretty little souped up 4-wheel drive, and her carving her name into my leather seats.
And I tend to flow more like with like an open relationship option, or like a polyamory like conversation, or like
It's queer culture.
You can't like live in Brooklyn without
Oh, that seemed to exhaust you a lot.
It is exhausting. Oh my god,
I just watched the life leave your eyes.
It's exhausting. It's already hard enough to find one person to like you and to communicate well with you, and then when you bring others, and then there's so many people who call things polyamory and open relationships that aren't. There's so many people who just use that label, and that's not what they're doing.
That's not what they're doing.
They're just being messy and L-word, and
yeah.
Anyway.
No, absolutely. It's
even
true.
Though I adopt that shit, I still, like, cheating, I can't. And, like, I've seen so many people, like, get away with, like, cheating in the name of bad polyamory. And it's like...
Cheating in the name of bad polyamory?
Yeah, that's my new LP.
I'll produce it. That sounds great.
It's so frustrating. I've seen so many people stay together and they're like, wow, it wasn't cheating. And I'm like, yes, it was.
Yes, it was. You're just justifying
didn't know,
it to yourself.
Yeah, you didn't know this was happening, and it was behind your back, and you weren't open at the time. Like, whatever. But this bi song sure celebrates the binary.
It does love ladies and guys.
Yeah.
End of list.
And I realize it's not even the bi flag in the background. It's just like pink, white, blue, which if you look up, that's a trans flag. The bi flag has like a purple in it.
That's what I saw.
No,
maybe it was just the lighting.
It
has white in the middle?
Yeah, it's blue. It's either pink, white, blue, or blue, white, pink. Yeah, it's white.
I'm just going to watch it. Not that I don't trust you. I just, like, now I'm like, what's wrong with my eyeballs?
Well, I think just because, like, you assume that it's the bi flag.
That I've, like, never actually looked at it before?
Well, I wouldn't have been picky about it had I not been like, I think that's the trans flag.
Maybe they're telling us something else about Daryl.
That'd be sick.
All right, everyone. There is a trans character later. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't.
Okay, well, it's coming.
There's, like, by lighting. Yeah, it's white, right? It's not the like dark purple.
It's definitely not, like, that would be the purple, and this would be like a very light pink.
Yeah.
But I think you're right that it's not as
it's not the
pronounced as you might expect it to be.
No, purple's supposed to be in the
I know
middle.
it's not, well, I don't know the order of the bi flag, but the colors are somewhat present.
I think they're just choosing, I think they didn't choose a pride flag. I think they were just like, boys, girls, and then like white in the middle.
Oh, you believe that they did not intentionally try to evoke the bisexual flag specifically?
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
Okay, that's interesting.
I think they
never would have thought about that.
I think they didn't try to get.
No, you're right. I did just have like a profound like Mandela effect. Like this is like I got Mandela in real time. That rascal Mandela is out at it again. Yeah, you're right. I guess it's not the bisexual flag in the background, even though you're like, it's the bisexual flag in the background, right?
It's not. I think they just were like blue and pink, and in the middle is white. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
In the middle is white? Daryl Whitefeather.
Yeah.
Check it out. Yeah, it's a fun number, and it was important to at least my journey along the way.
Absolutely.
But that is also, it's good if something like this becomes out of date. You know what I mean? That means that there's societal progress.
Yeah, definitely.
I would always rather art eventually become out of date than it means we as a society have stopped moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would rather have Patrick Swayze play a drag queen back then than nobody play a drag queen.
Patrick Swayze, John Leguizamo, and Wesley Snipes play drag queens.
And maybe they don't identify as queer men. Also,
but also, at least Patrick and John.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying too, is these things aren't always, they appear. I saw somebody post on Instagram recently, she usually posts takes that I'm like, yeah, like this is a niche thought that I have in my head a lot, but I'm glad somebody is putting it out there, who has like a little blue check mark next to their name. On Instagram, you know, like, just, it's nice to be like, oh, my thought that I just keep to myself, somebody else is like putting up there. But where am I going with this? It had to do with bisexuality and
Patrick Swayze and John Leguizamo and drag queens.
Why don't you just talk about the next thing you're thinking about?
Okay, great. And we'll see if we come back to it.
Yeah.
Well, of course, while Rebecca's on her stalkery shit, she sees Valencia forgive Josh, and they had the great... we found it.
I did. Okay, it was about queer baiting. And it was a good point that, like, we need to stop being like, this person's queer baiting, like, all the time. Because, like, it's also just, like, that's us outing people who, like, aren't ready to, like our obsession with being like, come out, like, this person's gay.
As if it's, like, not a personal journey.
Exactly.
And people might have reasons not to come out.
Yeah, so I do get it. I feel like I do get into arguments with people where they're like, I want to stop seeing cis people play that. And I'm like, I agree, but also... But also, Jake Gyllenhaal's gay.
He might not know it. He might not be open about it. Jake Gyllenhaal's gay.
He might not know it of it all.
Yeah, he might not know it. I
was the she might not know it for so long.
Exactly.
And, like, people let me go to Westboro Baptist counter protests and be like, love is love signs and, like, pride. And I was just like, I'm an ally.
I'm an ally. I love gay people, but not like that.
We need those. Yeah. We need that era as queer people.
It's an important part of the journey, I think. Like, we talked about it previously in previous conversations about Daryl's coming out arc, but I find Daryl's coming out arc very refreshing as both a viewer and as someone who has his own very protracted coming out arc, where it's not, I was born this way, and I knew when I was 12 years old that I was gay, and I'd be gay forever. You know, it's like, it's an adult person dealing with something that is very personal, and also there is no... I think it's one of those things, like when people say, like, I really just want to know me. I'm like, there is no you. I don't think there's an answer to your sexuality, as much as I don't think there's an answer to yourself. There's no core you that you're trying to get in touch with. You are many different things.
Yeah, I feel that.
You are not, like, I am...
gay.
Yes, I am gay. No, but I am, like, several different people.
The way that
do you know what I mean?
Things in my head is I'm gay, and I didn't mean to erase your bi-ness as expressed in this episode. Are you sure you're not just gay?
Right, or whatever.
That's not what I was
right. I've said bi for so long, but that is a very binary term that I've been, like, rethinking. So I don't know. But as Daryl will evidence, it is a journey and it is a process, and you're not gonna arrive at it all at once. And I again don't really think there is an answer. I know that we as humans like labels, but I don't think it's as easy as I am blank. And I think that about basically every aspect of human life.
Yeah, I feel that.
Anyway. Sorry, went off on one of mine. But while Rebecca sees Valencia forgive Josh, we get another banger number. Like, these last few episodes have been really strong episodes with universally really fun songs. I know y'all were not big on Text Emergency, but it was, like, fun, and it was, like, it picked you up more than like California Christmas Time.
100%. Yeah, that's my new reference point for songs I don't care about as much. And then I just blocked out the ones that I super hated. Yeah, Villain in My Own Story. I love that, especially it kind of comes back around to what roles we're playing in our own lives.
Yes, you think you sometimes, you know, we all like to see ourselves as the protagonist of reality. It's like, I am the protagonist. I am Kate Hudson. I am the fairy princess. But sometimes you're the villain in someone else's story.
That haunts me, though. I love to make up all day long ways that I'm somebody's villain and be like, I'm bad.
I'm the villain in my own story.
Not because I want to be, but just like because I love being mean to myself. So I
love beating up on myself.
I love it. So I love to be like, whose day am I ruining by existing? And I only through like recovery and like sober recovery and being in rooms of people who also feel the same way about themselves have I learned the term, I'm like the biggest piece of shit in the center of the universe. So like everything revolves around me being like a piece of shit.
Giant piece of shit.
So
you're a piece of shit so large you have a gravitational pull.
Exactly. So it's like an anti bravado where it's like people actually aren't thinking about me that much. Like I'm not the villain of other people's stories because people don't care if I don't go to this party. And if they say they do, it's not about me, it's about them.
It's about them, exactly.
And so while I spend all day thinking that I'm the villain of other people's stories, in reality, I'm not even a character.
In reality, it's the scene from Mad Men where the guy says, I feel bad for you, and Don Draper says, I don't think about you at all.
Exactly.
And it's great. I find that freeing.
Yeah.
Because I was so paralyzed for so long about, like, how is everyone around me perceiving me, friends, family, and strangers alike. And it was honestly like moving here,
New
where
York
it's
helps.
like people don't give a shit what you're doing. They got their own thing going on. They're not going to ask you a million questions probably. Like they got their own fucking shit. They don't care what you're doing because they see weird shit every day. And it helps me to know I'm just one of 8 million stories in the naked city. You know what I mean?
What makes it a naked city?
I don't remember why it's called that.
Nikki.
Nikki.
I don't see enough naked people for me to feel like it's a naked city. Well, this all being said, I've still had like crippling social anxiety recently. Mm-hmm. And it's been going on like most of the summer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's funny because I have the awareness that like nobody actually cares or is thinking about me. I think which then leads me to being like, then what am I doing? What is my purpose? Why do I walk this way?
Your purpose is what you define it to be. No one has given it to you.
Yeah.
You get to make your own purpose, which is, in one way, obviously a little bit like, well, what do I do? But there's kind of something blissful to knowing that there's no right answer. Your purpose is what you define it to be. And it can be frivolous or not, but you get to kind of make your own path there in a lot of ways.
I thought it was very generous of the therapist to decide to spend her flight letting it be a therapy session.
Dr. Akobian.
I think she continues to be a very generous therapist.
She's a really giving... I wish all therapists were like Dr. Akobian.
Yeah, I'm glad my therapist has boundaries. Since I know her well now. I think if it was someone that I didn't know super well, I'd be like, no, you need to like center yourself around me.
Yeah. Sorry, I've been doing some digging. I do not know under what circumstances it is referred to as the naked city. I don't know what they mean when they say that. But I do know it is a 1948 noir film, which was landmark at the time for actually being filmed on the streets of New York. It's one of the first films to ever like get you these like shots like this in the middle of a movie.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and watch that. And it's a step-by-step look at a murder investigation on the streets of New York.
Oh, hell yeah.
And there are 1 million stories. There are 8 million stories in the naked city, and this one is mine.
I would say I'll watch it, but I have something pretty dark to confess. I watched like 2 episodes of Breaking Bad recently, and that was good that I did that, because I otherwise can't get out of... I'm listening to one particular song on loop right now, and then I can't get out of Love Island. Like, I can't watch...
You're trapped on Love
I
Island.
can't, like, watch good stuff.
Rescue from Love Island.
I tried to take myself to that movie of, like, that Bollywood movie, and I very much enjoyed it for 2 hours, but it was a 3-hour movie, and I had to leave. But I'm stuck in Love Island, and I can't get out, and I've heard other people talk about this, and I don't care that much about them in the show. And I don't really get the stakes. I don't really get, like, what the rule... I think Too Hot to Handle is a lot better structured, and I've actually watched a Too Hot to Handle inspired porn, and it was excellent. They have multiples of them, and
that's
they're
great.
really good. I think, like, having a robot tell you what to do is just, like, a great little premise.
For a porn?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, having, like, Alexa or Siri be like, you can't do this until XYZ.
Yeah, you have to jerk off.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
you can't stop.
You can't use your hands until this happens. I'm like, what a fun little thing. I would much rather hear it from Alexa than hear it from a cinematographer. So placing myself in the world, I like better, and this is all to say.
I really like to put myself in the shoes of the porn protagonist. What are their emotional
I do
journey?
go, I don't know if you have this experience, but I've only really gotten into, and you don't have to talk about your proclivity to porn on
Thank
this
you.
podcast, but I'll just speak from my experience.
A proclivity to porn.
I watch so much more now that I'm on testosterone, and
Hell yeah.
for a while...
Hell yeah.
No, but for real.
Yeah, no,
and
it's a thing.
It's a real thing, and I couldn't quite watch porn regularly, or I didn't have, like, a desire for it the same way I'm like, oh, I want to eat peanut butter right now. Like, oh, I want to watch porn right now. I didn't have that sort of, like, compass before. But even when I did, I would get too caught up in the logistics of filming it. And I still I still feel that way. I get
Where's
too...
the DP right now?
No, I do. I get...
Not the DP that we can see.
Where's the Mr.
Where's the
Light?
director for that? Yeah, where's Mr. Light? Where's
Mr.
Best
Light?
Boy?
Sometimes I do get frustrated with Mr. Light, and I think he does a worse job in porn than he does in regular...
Absolutely, he's
film.
really phoning it in.
Yeah, I think that one's just a paycheck for him.
Yeah, his heart is not in that one.
There's a few, though, where I'm like, oh, Mr. Light's, like, trying something
He's really
out.
showing up.
Yeah. But I do get caught up in... There's this, like, one, like...
We've talked about it before, but I would like to shoot one porn. Just
Yeah.
to have done it.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into the industry. I certainly don't want to act in the
Yeah.
industry. But, like, I'd shoot one porn.
What's your... Do you like a plot? And what, like, plot would you
If
want
I'm going to direct a porn, yeah,
You want it to
I
be
want
plot.
some plot.
Do you want it to be kind of satirical? Or
No, I want it pretty straightforward.
You
I
want
don't
real
want
acting?
a winky plot. I don't want like them being like, we know this is silly, that like your grandfather's will stipulated that you had to suck my dick. Like nothing like that. I want like it doesn't have to be a melodrama, but I want like real stakes.
what kind of stakes work for you?
I want two people
Okay.
who seem to legitimately like and want to have sex with each
It's a
other,
big
and
ass.
both people are into it. That is
Okay.
very important to me in pornography. I want it to feel like both people are having a good time and enjoying themselves.
And there's a scenario that brought them there.
Yeah, I don't know the plot yet. I want to be clear. I'm not like dreaming up my porn plot. I'm just like, I'll do it once, and if
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
I was thinking about, like, the weirdest porn I found myself watching recently, where you had to, like, do so much mental math to figure out, like, how they got into that situation and why it was okay.
Yeah.
Where, like, this person had to sign, like, a consent contract because, like, she was paying, like, she needed to pay rent because her roommate was too busy grieving her grandmother.
Yeah, it's true. That's too much business.
Oh, we're not
Oh,
even close.
my God.
And so she needed to pay rent because her roommate was late on rent because her grandmother was had just died, and she was like, but I'm broke, and so I'm like down to be like a free use like person. and the fake girl boss who runs this business, this pimp girl boss, was like, well, like, we have a very strict policy.
Madams are the original girl boss.
Yeah, and like we have a very strict policy of like what you can and can't, like, or we have a very strict policy that this could happen. Our clients could show up at any moment in your life at any time, and you would have to be for use. And she was just like, yeah, I mean, I just like need rent, like, so I'm like down. She's like, so you completely consent to this state of terms? And she's like, yes. And so then she's at the funeral for her friend. She's at her,
oh no!
And there's a priest.
I could have predicted
and this client comes in, and she's like, I have to, like, I want to fuck you in front of your friend at the funeral. So now it's just like on the kitchen table of her roommate's funeral, and she's like, I'm doing this for you, I'm trying to pay rent. And so she's like upset because she's like, no, like, I'm doing this for you, and the friend is like, I hate you. So it's like this.
No, I don't like this very much at all. I'll be honest with you, that does not get my motor running. That's too fraught.
I don't know, it's so dramatic.
Don't like how fraught it is. I can't get it up when it's fraught.
I was surprised. I think I was moved by the story.
So compelled. I just wanted them to get together, these crazy kids.
And I was like, is she going to get out of her contract? Like,
did you skip to the end? What happened?
I didn't. Because I don't think, or maybe I did, but I think the ending wasn't like, I don't think they like.
They didn't resolve the tale?
I don't think they did like a hero's journey and like resolved.
I
don't think there was a denouement.
She did not have the meeting with the goddess.
Yeah, I don't think.
The atonement with the father.
Do a mahana at the end, or a denouement.
Do a mahana.
Or a denouement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talking about Deus Ex Machina?
Yeah.
Do a machina. Like, get the fuck away from me. Is that how it's really pronounced?
I don't know. Now I feel.
Doesn't sound Greek.
I'm second guessing myself. I wish they had given us an entire raccoon song. That was my last beat moment.
Oh, banana peels. That's the
great recall.
Thank you. The end tag era of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is so weird because they stopped doing it after season 1. You will never get anything quite like that again.
I like them.
And it's like, I don't mind them. It's just weird.
When
and
it
I
slaps,
do think
it slaps.
Yeah, when it slaps, it slaps. I'll never forget Karen reviewing her menstrual cup and saying, "My cup runneth over, not good." But it's just like I this is a moment much like you with pornography. This is where I get stuck thinking about the logistics of like, so for this like 2-second cartoon clip, they had to like model a raccoon that looks like Paula.
I thought about that
They had
too.
to write a song. They had to animate a number of seconds of animation with all the little like things on the tray. That's where it gets me.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I thought about that as
I think
well.
about it. I'm like, how much money did you spend on this raccoon Paula end tag?
I just remember last night I put in a game of fishbowl, or like celebrity. People call it different things. We had to all put like celebrities or characters or whatever in the bowl, and then you have to.
Someone has to guess what it is.
You have to guess what it is. And I put a porn star in there and then I left the party
Just to
early,
shake it
and I
up.
stayed just long enough to be like, I need to see how this person.
Yeah.
And it was this person that they call Alphabet Leg in porn, because he has like tattoos of the alphabet on his leg.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I just got into the like head.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
The minutia.
The minutia.
I do think it's very funny when you're with a group of people and you watch a bunch of people pretend they don't all know who this porn star is.
Most people didn't, and only one person was like,
Alphabet Leg I do not know, but I always think it's like very funny if you're with a group of guys and everyone is trying to pretend like they don't know the names of any porn stars, and it's like, yeah, you fucking do. Like, let's not... You don't have to talk about it, like, enrapturously. Like, oh, she's so good. But, like, you know the names of some porn stars. Don't lie to... Don't bullshit a bullshitter.
I'm just making this connection for the first time right now, but it feels like I now have access to the world of sports. The way that people talk about sports, but... Porn. But, like, the way that people talk about sports... and like all the different like guys and like things that are happening is how I used to feel as a girl sitting there listening to guys talk about sports or porn and be like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And then if they all knew a porn star, I'm like, ooh, this feels weird. I don't know what's going on. And now I'm in that camp where I'm like, I know these things. And then I watch girls being like, ugh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like worried that like I don't really watch porn because I don't know how ethical it is. And I'm like, yeah, totally. I was like you once, and then
yeah, for sure.
and then something changed.
Oh wow, Heather's the Musical being advertised on the Roku channel right in front of us.
Heather's, yeah.
Deus Ex Machina.
That sounds like how I said it.
I think you're right.
Deus Ex Machina.
Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, that's Deus Ex. Yes, Batman and I are saying the same thing. You pronounce it like it's French.
Yep.
Deus Ex Machina.
People pronounce LaCroix like that, though. They pronounce it LaCroix, and I'm like, it's not from France.
It's not from St. Croix.
It's, not from there.
Made up.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at this Roku screensaver, which I'm not as familiar with.
Oh, I think you would like it because they're all different movie references.
Yeah, they're all different movies, and I'm used to, like, there's a different one with, like, Roku City.
Is that one Dune?
The worm? No, I think that's a Star Wars. There's a Star Wars that looks like that. And these are Star Wars also down here. This is Galaxy Quest. That's Dune.
That's
the sandworm that a guy is riding. That's Dune. That's Galaxy Quest, which I did not expect to see. You don't usually see that lined up against, like, look at all these all-time classic. That's Spaceballs.
That's Spaceballs, and then that's the USS Enterprise.
Yeah, of course, from Star Trek. So they are using... Roku City uses, like, public domain versions of all this, but this screensaver is just using some straight-up copyrighted material.
I think they purposely, like, get the... Like, this is a fun thing that they do.
This is a fun one. So is this a Roku, what you have? Is this what that is?
Yeah.
I've never had any, like, smart TVs or anything like that. So it's all a mystery to me.
It's all Greek.
It's all Greek to me.
What are the...
Deus Ex Machina.
What are the... Okay, flex. I get it. You can pronounce it.
Stargate? There's a Stargate in this screensaver? Listeners, I'm so sorry. But, like, I'm just really taken aback by what's happening right now.
What are the dice? Do you...
Those are just like fuzzy dice, like you're driving the spaceship.
I think those are from Star Wars.
He does have little dice that like get brought up in The Last Jedi as if I'm supposed to know what those are, and I'm like, I'm supposed to have like known that Han Solo had like little dice hanging from his mirror in the first movie.
Also, there's
Blade Runner, 2001.
I see some lightsabers.
See some lightsabers.
When this isn't a galaxy spread, this is a...
There's an alien egg.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a cityscape, and then there's like...
Yeah, I know Roku
King
City.
Kong and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
There are a million stories in Roku City.
Oh, I see at the top there's like a predator alien situation drooling.
Oh, no, that's the alien.
Oh, my bad.
That's okay. That's a xenomorph.
I don't really know the... Alien Predator universe. Prey.
You watch Prey. I assume that basketball that is a planet is a Space Jam reference. Yes.
Though that'd be funny if there was any...
Now we're doing a commentary of the Roku Space Station screensaver. Another 2001 obelisk. We're getting all the references here.
What is this planet with the lake?
I don't know. They're making shit up.
I don't think they are.
No, they're making this up. This ain't a planet.
No, I think
it's from Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets, of course. Yeah, so it sounds like we're about done talking about Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
I was done at the raccoon beat.
Oh, okay.
I somehow...
And then we got distracted by Roku
went
City.
into all of the porn universe that I did.
That's okay. It's all staying in. It will not be edited out.
Fuck. Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
It's, you know what? You're on record.
Yeah.
Arrival, alien spaceship. Anyway, yeah, so, I don't know, any plugs?
My Instagram is still at Cat Scott Online.
Ask your parents before logging on.
Truly. And the porn subscription service I use is called Belisa Plus. And they call it the Netflix for porn, actually.
Yeah, that's ours, actually. It's officially the Netflix for porn.
And it's like...
Belisa?
It's like made by women for women,
Wow.
allegedly. And at first I was like, no, it's not. But now I'm like, oh, I don't know. Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Kind of yeah made for ladies. Okay.
Yeah. It's nice. And my login is catscottvirtual@gmail.com, and my password is 69696969. So eight characters, 696969.
69 4 times.
Yeah.
Amazing. Sounds great.
I give everybody my login because Netflix doesn't.
Yeah, we don't want you sharing your login, but you'll never have to change it, but you can't share it. But you'll never have to change it, but you can't share it.
It's so weird.
Yep. It's great. We're a great business. We're a great company. As the president of Netflix, please watch Red Notice. Please watch The Gray Man. We're going all in on The Gray Man. We know y'all love The Gray Man, so, enjoy 3 spin-off shows, the Gray Man original series, 5 more Gray Man films telling you everything you ever wanted to know about The Gray Man, what we're too afraid to ask. And
this isn't about porn star Owen Gray, right?
I have no idea what you're talking
What's
about.
the Gray Man?
What's The Gray Man? It's one of the Netflix finest Netflix originals. It stars Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. It's directed by the Russo brothers. Apparently everyone on Earth watched it except for Kevin. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Huh, I also didn't watch it. Also my letterboxd is Cat Scott. And it's October right now, right?
Yeah, this will go up in early October.
It's spooky season, so I'll probably have lists of fun spooky movies to watch. I don't watch as many like super scary movies, but I've watched more as the time has gone on. Yeah.
Yeah. You can follow mine, TV's Kevin, and I also watch a bunch of spooky movies this time of year.
Kevin's really active on Letterboxd.
I do be loving Letterboxd.
If you haven't popped into TV's Kevin Letterboxd of TV's Kevin Lanigan of Netflix, president of Netflix, TV's Kevin Lanigan. It's good. It's good. I mean, you like review things, you give them you rewatch things. You're very like on top of like what you watch and documenting it.
I do it immediately.
Archiving it.
That's why I didn't join Letterboxd for years, because I knew I would be compulsive about it. I knew this would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, it helped me. It helps me a lot, greatly as the president of Netflix to know about all these films and have my views spread the world over.
I'm glad you stay in touch with like your citizens.
Yeah, with my inner cinephile, which is so important when you're running a business like Netflix and producing great films like The Gray Man, or The Starling, which I recently saw autoplay in a bar, and I was like, Melissa McCarthy and Chris O'Dowd. What is this? But that's how many great offerings we have. I don't even know about all of them.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
We'll be back next month, November, with another couple episodes of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and probably with a guest. Who will that guest be? Your guess is as good as mine. And until then, love is like digging through a trash can, searching for old banana peels.
100%. And happy spooky season. We finally did it. We got here. We waited all year to get here.
Looks like we made it.
I don't know what I'm going to be for Halloween.
I think I know what I'm going to be if I am anything.
What are you going to be?
I think I'm going to be Raccoon Cooey from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Shut up! Oh my god!
I'm going to have a little raccoon on my head and wear like a chef's apron. Done.
Did I see that movie with you?
Yeah.
And I like freaked out.
Yeah. You loved Raccoon Cooey.
I loved Raccoon Cooey. I lost my shit.
You fucking died. I've rarely been with someone who reacted as strongly to anything in a movie as you reacted to Raccoon Cooey.
Maybe I'll be Linguini. Who's the guy with the chef hat in Ratatouille?
I don't know.
What's the guy's name?
I don't know the guy's name.
Okay.
I know who you're talking. I know that little fucking nerd. I know what he looks like. I don't know his name.
Maybe I'll be that for Halloween.
Hell yeah. Anyone can cook.
This is real deep beef from way back in the past. Deeper than I'll put a foot up in the crack of your ass. Come on, let's do this. Your little pals can witness how vicious this Westchester alpha bitch is. I'm straight up malicious, a verbal curb stomper. Since we were toddlers, I've studied every chink in your armor. And between your folks' divorce and that haircut on you, I'm really not sure which one's the bigger Shonda. That means disgrace. I'm translating for the goys. Our lifelines have been parallel like corduroys, but now we'll see whose bars will prevail in this beef of two hard as nail she bruised from Scarsdale. We've got a conflict of interest. I'm about to give Levine the business. Spitting venomous hate, penetrating her defenses. It's a Jap battle.
A what? A Jewish American princess.
Rap battle.
Daughters of rivers.
Spitting mad flow.
Find that term offensive.
Too bad, yo, oh, snap. It's a Jap battle rap. Look, academically, you could never catch me. You were close, but no match scholastically. No how, no way. I put the OG in 5.0 GPA. Well, speaking of which, are you AP graded? Cause these days you look a bit heavily weighted. And now your book cracking don't make up for the fact that I'm strapped with that killer instinct that you lack. Sweetheart, here's what you're not understanding. I'm street smart. You mean cause you minored in urban planning? Bitch, I know you. That tough act's a bluff. So shake it, Bavaka, shut the fuck up. Your temper, you lost it. Oh, cute. Like you're gonna lose this lawsuit. But here's one category where you have no rival. Blowing frat guys with your AE pie hole. And I banged your hedge fund manager fiance. Back in college over winter holidays. Bathroom stall at the matzo ball. And honestly, I gotta say, really not hot at all. Small dick, rotten lay.
This is
A Jap battle.
pain of my existence.
You're an asshole. From Golden Bridge to North Castle, wipe you off the map in this Jap battle rap. Bunch, you're a curse, you're a blight. We were frenemies at first spite. Think your verse is tight, then you're tripping like birthright. I'll wipe the mirth right off your fugly mug and fill you full of slugs like a straight up thug. That word is racist, someone ought to tell you. Like me, I belong to the ACLU. Spare me, I'm a card-carrying member. Plus, I spent a semester in Kenya, remember? Well, I volunteered in Ghana. Well, I guess that makes us equal. Well, it's settled then. We're both cool with black people. Cause we're liberals. Duh, progressive as hell. Though, of course, I support Israel. Audra, wait. We share so many traits. Should we shake hands and erase the hate created by our mothers pitting us against each other for accolades and grades? We were egged on like Seder plates. Nah. In summation, you left New York for this fucking shtetl. And now you're like, oh, Audra, let's settle. You wanna get salty like the Dead Sea? Word, but call off the suit or you're dead, C-word.